Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
I need new music.
Discover new music now. JJO.
A big friend, a longtime friend of the station, star of stage and screen, and the bane of wooden bar stools everywhere, Mr. Jesse James Dupree. Jesse, how are you, my friend?
We've left a pathway of those along the way. I think we've increased Walmart stock in the company from all the profit they've made off of the wooden bar stools over the years.
Well, hey, man, I really appreciate the time. Obviously, one of the busiest guys in rock and roll, and it is no different now. And we are celebrating something very exciting. The new album, 30, coming in hot. The current single from Jackyl, Get All Up in It, which is just fun to say. It's fun to listen to. 30th anniversary of Jackyl with this new album. You guys dug deep. You made 3 new songs. You came out with 17 live cuts. How was that, digging back into the history of Jackyl to get these songs? Was it fun going down that memory lane of 30 years?
Yeah, we get to go down that memory lane every night during the concert, because we touch on just about everything. And so we wanted to make sure that we click the all of the above button as far as what we wanted the 30th anniversary to be and exemplify. And, it's always been about the live show with Jackyl as much as it is about making new music. I mean, a lot of bands would go out and do a tour to promote their new recordings. And we've always went out and done new recordings, so we'd have an excuse to be out touring, and we kind of flipped it around. And but yeah, we got the Get All Up in It first release was, I think it's like hitting toward 400,000 views on YouTube just within 6-8 weeks now. And then we've got the newest single that dropped along with the album called Another Round. For me, Another Round is a personal thing, because whether it ever sees the light of day with people playing it on the radio or whatever the case may be, for me, it's a special song because just much like I Stand Alone is, when people ask me over the years, if I could only keep one song, what would it be? And without hesitation, I say it's I Stand Alone, just because it was that personal attachment that I have to that song. And, obviously love When Will It Rain and Locked and Loaded with Brian Johnson from AC/DC and Down on Me. And I could go down the list and such. Push Comes to Shove, all the songs that we've had success with at, say, radio, for charts and such. But I Stand Alone always held that special just because of where I was when I wrote it. And Another Round found myself in that same exact situation. And so another round is like I Stand Alone Part 2 for me, and just mustered up everything of pausing for 1 second to say, wow, it's been 30 years, then to turn around and say, but I ain't through yet, mother. We're going to take another bite out of life fast. So that's what that song was kind of catapulting, to throw us into the next 30. Big slab of rock and roll that I'm very proud of. And the response so far to the song Another Round has been great. I'm looking to try to get a video shot for that pretty soon, so we can get that. We do have a lyric video that we're going to be launching hopefully today or tomorrow. That'll just be a bridge until we get the new one out. And then there's another song on there that's called Bad Decision. That's just a sleazy rock and roll song that I don't know where the hell it came from. I listened to it and I'm going, what were we thinking? It's just, but again, people that have got the album now, and we're making the album. You can get a CD version of it that's autographed by the whole band on Jackyl.com. Awesome. And we've been very humbled at the response, because everybody's getting their music through streaming and downloads and all that kind of stuff now. So to have as many, the hundreds and hundreds of people that have reached out and wanted an autographed copy of the CD, of the physical CD, has been nice. And then we got some badass shirts that have that album cover on it with the Jackyl logo dropping out of the bomber bay, that atomic bomb looking, that old school atomic bomb 30 coming in hot. So yeah, it's appropriate and something that we're celebrating. We're going to celebrate it all year long.
I want to touch back on Another Round and you making that connection with the song like I Stand Alone and that meaning to you, and now Another Round. After 30 years as an artist, it's got to feel pretty good to find that connection with the music. And I know you connect with all of your music and with the fans, but to find that deep connection in a song, even after all this time where maybe people get burned out or tired of it or tired of the road, for you, that's got to feel good to still have that strong connection with the music.
We know a mutual friend of ours, Randy Hawk, was, he's the one that kind of brought it to my attention a couple of months ago, because he was actually listening to some of the original mastered stuff, mixes that we'd done on the new record. And he was looking at Spotify and some of the other streaming networks, and he was going, man, do you realize how strong all of your last 3 albums have done, and how it stacks up even with our original albums, the first few albums. And so we started looking at it, and then I started looking at the show, and songs like Screwdriver and Encore and My Moonshine and Just Because I'm Drunk. And there's just so many songs that if we don't play those songs live, people would lose their mind, just like they would if we didn't play The Lumberjack or Down on Me. The family members that follow us over the years, they truly followed us with every album that we've put out. And again, I can't imagine it. And that's hard. I have a hard time myself. I just don't differentiate, one of the newer songs like an Encore or Screwdriver. I don't, and even the Get All Up in It, to me, I don't sit there and think less of it because it was not on the first 2 albums. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, they got their place that's just as viable within the live show. So, we've been very blessed. We kind of defied gravity in that sense compared to a lot of other bands. And, there's not really, if you think about it, there's still some of the 80s bands that are out there touring around. And then there's obviously a lot of bands from 2004 that are touring around. But there's very few bands from the early 90s when we came out, the early and mid 90s. There's very few bands that are together or fully together, not, without maybe just being the guitarist or the drummer or the singer or whatever. I mean, we've managed to be one of the few bands from the early 90s that's still cohesive and together and viable as far as, out playing the circuit, be able to get on the tour bus and stay gone for a few weeks.
And that's obviously been, I think, a key part to its longevity is you as a band, that working unit has made that possible these 30 years down the road.
Yeah, people ask, what we attribute to, all of us sticking together. And I very quickly tell everybody, because nobody else will have us. We just kind of stuck together. In both in the good and bad sense.
Thick as thieves. That's fair to say. That's fair to say.
Yeah.
Madison Solid Rock 94.1 JJO. I'm Brock, and my guest for JJO Discover New Music is Jesse James Dupree of Jackyl. Their new release, 30, coming in hot, is what we're highlighting this week on Discover New Music. You got 3 awesome new tracks that Jackyl fans and rock fans everywhere can get a hold of and hear new Jackyl. But then this laundry list of live songs and these bangers throughout the years. Was it hard to find the live songs to because that's a tall order to pick? All right, which ones are we going to put on there for Jackyl for this celebration, this 30th anniversary?
Yeah, it was, it was kind of made easy by the fact that we were able to go with the ones that sounded the best and that we were proud of in capturing a true live performance. And so that story told itself from that aspect. But as far as, we could have tortured ourselves to, and argued for days over, which ones could be. But luckily, it sorted itself out based on what sonically and performance wise, we felt like represented what we were doing.
Well, it's killer, and congratulations on 30 years of Jackyl. I'll share my little Jackyl history tidbit. Many years ago when I was a young man, thicker hair, more pep in my step, got to see you for the very first time, small little bar in Janesville, Wisconsin. However, I was not old enough to drink, so there was a drinking area for Jackyl, and there was a non-drinking area. But instead of me missing out on the good time, my friends were handing me drinks over bathroom stalls. I would chug them quick. And I wish I could say I remembered the first time I saw Jackyl, but I do not. So I hope that's a little piece of Jackyl history that you
that mission accomplished.
I'm sure it was a great show. The next time I got to see, I remembered it. It was killer. It was awesome.
I like that. I like it whenever I like the stories when I hear that people came to the show and they got so worked up, hot and bothered, they couldn't even make it through the end of the show. They had to go out in the parking lot, jump in the back seat and knock out the old dirty.
I believe Jackyl is responsible for a lot of backseat babies. I'm positive of that. It just happened.
We've heard a lot of those stories, so proud of that as well. Thank you for letting us get on here and celebrate the fact that we do have a new album out. We're very proud of it. We're going to be out on the road touring.
Just warriors of the road, even set a record actually for most shows. You guys have 2 Guinness World Records when it comes to concerts, which is pretty damn impressive. Do you think you could still do those now? Do you think you could still maybe beat those records?
If I had to, I would, but I don't want to do it. I mean, we did 100 shows in 50 days and 21 shows in a 24-hour period. And both of them were very demanding and taxing and as much fun as they were stressful. But yeah, we accomplished. We got a Guinness Book World Records certificate hanging on our wall. And I challenge any band out there to try to do it in the same manner that we did it. I mean, we did it full tilt, full production, full perform. There wasn't no acoustic. There wasn't no flying anywhere. We would play, pick it up, drive, play, pick it up and drive. And it was very hardcore. Nobody will ever really know what all went into that. So it was pretty amazing.
I don't think any band, and I'm not just saying this to pander to you, I don't think anyone that I know, even now young bucks, could do that. It's just, it was a different time and a different breed of band. Well, once again, everyone, 30 coming in hot, the latest album from Jackyl. If you have not got it, go get it. Get more online and then go see him live. It's going to be the best live show you've ever seen. You will never forget it, unless your friends are feeding you drinks over a bathroom stall. Then it'll be fuzzy, but you'll get the main gist. Lastly, Jesse, before you go, let's do rapid fire and then I'll let you get back to it. No wrong answers on this. Just go with your heart. First one, beer or whiskey?
Whiskey.
Chili dog or corn dog?
Chili dog.
Disco or techno?
Disco.
I could see you as some of the outfits you wore in the music video for Get All Up In It was kind of disco-y. So yeah.
I'm a huge KC and the Sunshine Band, and Earth, Wind and Fire and all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Break it down. Would you rather see Bigfoot or El Chupacabra?
I'd rather see Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. And lastly, would you rather fight a 3-foot Mike Tyson, but in his prime, or a 10-foot Queen Elizabeth, like in her 80s?
To be able to say you fought Queen Elizabeth, period, would be a champion. I'd love that. I'll fight Queen Elizabeth.
Great job on rapid fire. Lastly, with gas prices, is an electric chainsaw ever in consideration for Jesse James Dupree?
Well, if the current administration has their way, it'd probably be I have no choice. But as of right now, I have no plans to go there until they make it completely physically impossible to get gas.
So we still keep that Hemi one going. I know you got that Hemi chainsaw, so we'll keep her juiced up for you. We will.
If it ever comes down to that, I'll probably just go to an acoustic performance with a handsaw.
Oh, you are a gentleman and a scholar and the best around, man. I love it. Jesse James Dupree, everyone, and Jackyl, thank you so much. I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Have a good day.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast. Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Brock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.